Hello there, Bree Cunningham here with Code Technology at DOCSF, and I have the pleasure of interviewing, yet again, the Dr. Vail. He is the chair of the Orthopaedic department at University of San Francisco, and couldn't think of a better subject matter to talk with applying practical things that we're learning from this conference into day-to-day practice. So tell me about how your department goes about innovation and selecting, being early adopters of these new tech companies, but also making sure you get something that works.
Right. Well, I think you hit on the real issue here, and part of it is practical and part of it is aspirational. So for our department, we really want to lead and take advantage of and participate with companies that are innovators in technology. We think there's a huge opportunity in that arena to solve some of the most pressing problems that we face in patient care. Now, that being said, as you alluded to, there's some real challenges associated with this process because there's a lot of innovation out there. There's a challenge to determine what part of that world of innovation fits into what we're trying to do. How do we spend our limited resources of time and dollars wisely?
Sure.
And how do we adopt a technology that's not just something shiny and new, but really truly solves a problem? That's what we're looking for. Now, just in terms of how do we organize, we've created a committee in our department of interested faculty members. It's called the Health Information Technology Committee, and part of the charge of that committee is to evaluate new technology.
Who makes up that committee?
There's probably 6 or 8 faculty members.
And then is there anyone from outside of your faculty? That like other departments that come in, IT?
No, they're really they're administrative people within the department.
Okay.
Stefano Bini, Einar Sawyer, orthopedic surgeons with technology interest and background, and then others from various sites where we provide care, the VA, San Francisco General Hospital. And they are providers of care, surgeons, staff that are interested in what I just articulated about incorporating technology into practice.
So speaking of Dr. Bini and Dr. Sawyer, there's a lot of people that are your faculty that are really thought leaders and innovators in this space. Do you think it's because it's in the Bay Area and there's all this buzz, or is it just random? Like, what percentage of your providers are like all about AI and coming to conferences like this?
Well, absolutely not random. This is something that we've encouraged. And I know when Stefano came on board a couple years ago into the department, we had conversations around this interest, and I was enthusiastic about creating a mechanism to benefit from technology and cull through technology as we were discussing. Einar Sawyer came to the department with that expertise and interest, and I think there's a part of a lot of surgeons and healthcare providers that's interested in this topic, and I think if you have a platform to allow them to become more knowledgeable, participate in decision making, and make it an active part of sort of the mission of the department, that you'll get engagement, and that's what we've seen in our own department.
I love it. So does that mean that you're going to start working with Topher and Under Armour on getting that data into healthcare providers' hands?
Well, yes, maybe not specifically with Under Armour, but possibly, you never know.
Were your wheels just spinning as he was talking?
Yeah, absolutely, because, there were a couple of moments listening to him talk, listening to Q talk about information, and a lot of the conversation today is about gathering information from multiple sources that allows us to make informed decisions at the point of care. And I think Q made the observation that a lot of the information that's available through electronic health records, standard electronic health record, is that episodic visit to the doctor, right? And without a lot of knowledge about what happens in between. And without a lot of focus on what's important to patients. Now, if you listen to Topher's presentation, what was clear is that his company, Under Armour, is very tuned into what patients want, what's important to patients. and they're measuring things that are important to patients. Well, these...
They are patients.
Yeah, excuse me, you're right. You see my focus. It's athletes, right? In their case, athletes. Yeah, for us, patients, let's just say people.
People,
right?
Exactly.
Important to people. And so that information that they're collecting from their athletes, from the people who wear their products, could be very relevant to their health status and decisions they might make, health decisions they might make.
Right.
So, yeah, very interesting, very useful. To us. This whole sensor technology, I think, in various capacities.
The embeddables.
Embeddables.
Right. I loved his term of frictionless, right? Frictionless solutions. How do you make sure that people can be engaged and involved? And
right.
I think, I don't know for sure, but like my chart, the engagement's like 10%, and their engagement for their people is so high. So it's inspiring. I think we can get there, yeah? Healthcare can get there.
Because that kind of thing is easy. You know, it's part of their clothing, right? It's passive. It's collecting. It doesn't require remembering your password, logging on,
right.
You know, all the onerous things that go with the traditional MyChart type of an interaction. This is really measuring people in their own environment, and that is probably the most important information that we could have about their health.
So, from the sessions that you heard this morning, what's the one thing that you're going to take back to your department? Share with the team.
Wow.
The panelists were amazing. There was so much amazing information that was both like philosophical, but then also practical.
Yeah, well, I think philosophical is right. I think what I take away from this conference is an awareness of a lot of the areas of focus, at least in our, you know, what we concentrated on today, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning. What are the opportunities in those areas? What are the young companies that are developing innovative technologies thinking about what's critical for their success? How does that match up with our needs? I think those are the aspects that are most important. I'll say at the same time, there are a lot of questions that are raised. You know, when you start to talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, again, Q from IBM brought up this idea of, well, what information sources do you use? You can, you know, not only you know, analyze, but you can select the sources from which you gather data. That brings up some interesting questions about bias and what the information sources might tell you, depending upon what you select as your base of information.
Source of truth, right?
Yeah. So I think there's an increased understanding about the meaning of these terms that we toss around a lot. That are kind of buzzwords that are interesting and intriguing, and I think we all feel like there's a sense of opportunity to use these in some way to benefit patients in healthcare. But what do they really mean, and what are the nuances? That's what you get out of a meeting like this.
And it sounds like UCSF is really driving that too. So exciting. I look forward to interviewing you next year and hearing all the amazing stories about how this technology has been applied.
Good. I hope. We'll keep trying.
Dr. Vail, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your conference, and we're out.
Thank you.